Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Over the past 3 days or so, I've talked to 3 former MLB pitchers. Surprisingly, all 3 agreed that the Indians have the edge in pitching no matter who they play against once the playoffs begin. And more importantly, by far the best pitcher in the game, Shane Bieber. My concern is the lack of run support they're going to get. All 3 pitchers said the top 5 or 6 batters in the Indians lineup can get enough, more than any other team can get in their own lineups. So you know what I say to that? Let the games begin. Mary Kay Cabot is here. More sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Tuesday night. More Sports and Les Levine, powered, of course, by cleveland.com. Mary Kay Cabot is here. We've moved her to the second spot in the batting order. Mary Kay, welcome back. Welcome home.
Yes, thank you. It's great to be back. I missed you guys and so happy to be here.
Well, we've set it up that you're so important to the show that if you want to do it at 4 in the morning, that's okay with us. Just give us an hour and a half warning that you're going to do that.
I'm flattered and I'm honored.
Excellent. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show, reallesLevine@gmail.com. Watching the games over the weekend, including the Browns and Cincinnati, something hit me that we hadn't talked about that much, and that is, as good as it looks like Joe Burrow is going to be, and you know about Roethlisberger, you know about everything else, you got an MVP in that league, and you got Baker Mayfield. This East, facing this conference, this division for the next, I don't know how many years, it's going to be tough for everybody involved.
It really is. I think it has arguably the most intriguing quarterback lineup in the NFL. I mean, you've got the defending NFL MVP in there in Lamar. You've got a future Hall of Famer in Ben Roethlisberger coming back off of this elbow injury. You've got Joe Burrow, who, I mean, it looks like the future is very bright for him for the next however many years, more than a decade, perhaps, in the AFC North. And then you've got Baker Mayfield, who's trying to get himself back on track. So this could be quite a show. One
thing I worry about on Joe Burrow is because the offensive line is so bad that maybe he'll get hurt, but hopefully they find a way to save him.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we watched that happen here with Tim Couch, and it's really a horrible thing for a young quarterback to have to go through, to not be protected, to not have the time to be able to do the things that you want to do, especially if you're going to be throwing the ball 61 times a game. Those 37 completions were a rookie NFL record.
Well, it's a lot of hits that he's taking, too, and some of them more solid than the others. But 61, you think about the arm and the shoulder, but you forget how many hits they take.
Yeah, again, like I said, we've watched that ruin careers here on more than one occasion. But, the thing that really comes to mind, or the person that really comes to mind with, is Tim Couch, also a former #1 overall pick who just did not have anywhere near the protection that he needed and wasn't able to do the things that he needed to do and just got hit way, way too many times.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right, you got some more good news coming in addition to the win. Although 35-30 is exciting for the fans, that's way too many points to give up.
It is way too many points to give up. I think it's a function of so many injuries on this defense. They were without about 4 defensive starters heading into the game. Actually, then 5 when Olivier Vernon was inactive with an abdomen injury. Then they lose Adrian Claiborne, who got off to a great start in the game. And they lose him in the game to a hip injury. It's just been crazy, the amount of defensive injuries that they've had. But they should get a few guys back this week, and I think that will help them tremendously.
All right, let me name some names, and you tell me if you think they'll be back or not. I'll throw them out as one full table here. Mack Wilson, Kevin Johnson, and Greedy Williams, they all practiced yesterday. What do you know about Mack Wilson?
Well, Mack had a brace on his knee, so I don't know if this is a situation where they're easing him back into practice and letting him try to, kind of get a feel for it. and then maybe play the following week. So I'm not super sure if Mack Wilson will be deemed ready to play or not. I know he wants to play, but it's a little bit early from the timetable they originally had.
Like Kevin Johnson, when you heard the original injury, you shuddered a little bit. What do we know now?
Well, he says he's completely healed, and once that liver heals up like that, then he doesn't have anything else to worry about. So I actually think that he's probably one that can go out there and play without any real grave concerns about re-injury or anything like that. So I would expect to see him.
Greedy Williams, rather.
You know what, Greedy, that's another one. He thinks he can go. He says he would probably have to wear some kind of a shoulder brace. I don't know if it was a dislocation or what it was. Nobody's really said the exact nature of the injury, and nobody really needs to. So I think that they'll probably just kind of keep that one a little bit of a mystery. I'm guessing it was probably some kind of a little bit of a separation or something like that. So, I think he can go out there and play, but the luxury that you have with Greedy Williams is that Terrence Mitchell played really well in the last game. So if Greedy's not 100% ready to go, they don't have to worry about it too much.
When you said a moment ago, mysterious injury or whatever you called it, what are we talking about? To fool the opposition whether a player is going to be ready, or is there more to it than that?
No, you know what? I think they just like to play it close to the vest. This is a coach that we've come to find out is he doesn't really like to give up too much information when it comes to injuries whatsoever. He's a new head coach, and this is how he's going to play it. He doesn't want to get specific. The things that we find out about injuries, such as like J.C. Tretter having arthroscopic knee surgery, those are things that we find out pretty much on our own. And we're just not going to be getting a whole lot of details on injuries from Kevin.
Aren't there league rules that they have to divulge?
No, they don't have to get super specific. They can just give you a body part, shoulder, knee, whatever, elbow. They don't have to get any more specific than that.
All right. In total, how concerned are you as far as the Browns defense is concerned? Or are you just are you okay with as long as they get back healthy, they'll be fine when they get fine?
Yes, I think they'll be okay once they get back healthy. I'm a little bit concerned about Olivier Vernon's abdominal injury because, when I went back out to practice yesterday, he was still off to the side, as was Adrian Claiborne, who suffered a hip flexor strain in that game. So if those two guys can't go, I think that's a significant blow to the defense, another significant blow. They would be starting Porter Gustin at that point, and he's done a really nice job. But you really want to have your starters out there if you can.
We have the voice of truth, the voicemail of Truth and Reason. All you have to do is send us a question if you can't get us while the show is on, and we will respond to it. Let's go first to Fremont, Ohio, where Ron Byer is standing by. Hello, Ron.
Hi, Les. This is Ron Byer. Hey, Les, the Browns' winning solution, smash mouth football. Start with great line blocking, utilize and often the two best running backs in the NFL, with fullback Andy Janovich leading the way. Get the ball in and out of Baker's hands as quick as possible with handoffs or quick play-action passing. Now, let's concentrate on getting the defense healthy and stronger. And number one, eliminate the long run backs on kickoffs. This will lead to victories and many smiles on Cleveland Browns fans.
All right, so Ron apparently has been hired as an assistant coach because he has the playbook out and he's ready to go. But it's hard to argue that's exactly what the Browns need to do.
Yeah, it sounds like a great formula. Run the ball with those two amazing running backs. These guys aren't going to get, they're not going to get overly tired or overused because one guy can leave it all out on the field and the next guy can come in and do the same. So I think that, they've got a great combination there with those guys. Kareem Hunt, it's nice to see him back, just so acclimated to the team. He just looks leaner. He looks faster. He looks very hungry to get out there and just really prove himself. He's got that new contract extension. I think he's in a much better place this year than he was last year. And so, yeah, that's a great formula. And, Baker does need to cut down on the interceptions, but if they go with the running game, the play action, the safer outlet passes that he has, he should be fine.
Are the two running backs okay with that formula that Ron gave at the beginning where they can just rotate around and fill in for each other?
Yeah, they're both being very selfless about the whole situation. Nick Chubb said the other night, I really wish that Kareem could get involved in the game plan earlier and get some more touches earlier on. I mean, how many running backs do you hear say that? Usually they say things like, "No, I need my 25
Yeah.
carries. I need to get warmed up. I need to feel in the flow of the game and all that kind of stuff." No, Nick was out there saying, "Hey, you know what? I want Kareem to be involved here and to take some of my carries away. That's fine with me."
As
And Kevin Stefanski really appreciated that.
as the beat writer for so long for the Browns, how many touches do you need before you can get your stories going?
Well, we have to write throughout the whole entire game. So sometimes I have to laugh because we have to have something, we call it the zero, the story at zero. The minute the clock hits zero, we have to have something up online. So in addition to trying to watch the game, we're writing while it's going on, and that can be very challenging.
Let's continue on the voicemail of Truth and Reason. BP is in Pepper Pike. Hello, BP.
Good afternoon, Les. This is BP in Pepper Pike. I hope you are doing well. It's always great to call in after a Browns victory. We don't get them too often, so I thought I'd give you a call. I'm very happy with the way the offense played. They finally utilized the running backs and the tight ends, and Baker Mayfield played smart. Hopefully this is what the Stefanski offense is supposed to look like. And hopefully, if they're getting back some guys on defense, that'll certainly help. So I'm still optimistic on the Browns. I'm hoping they go 9-7 this year. It's encouraging to me that some of the teams that we thought were going to be tough this year are already off to not so great starts, such as the Philadelphia Eagles, the Houston Texans. Dallas basically barely won a game yesterday. So I am encouraged, and also the two New York teams look like some of the worst teams in football. So maybe this will be our year. Let's take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, BP. He brought up something right at the beginning, and he said he hopes what he just saw was Stefanski-type football. It's obviously too early to define that, but did you see basic structure that shows you what he wants to do?
Yeah, I think so. It's what we had talked about all offseason, that they were going to, function from the run first and then flow out from there, and that we were going to see bootlegs, rollouts, play action, take your shots, use a lot of two tight ends and things like that. So we've seen all the things, at least in this previous game against the Bengals, that we thought we were going to see. I think they'll build on that from here, but that is the basic framework. Now, it's not always going to be as easy as it was against the Bengals. They had the worst defense in the NFL last year. They were without their best defensive lineman in Geno Atkins this game. They were without his replacement in Mike Daniels. So even the next time they play the Bengals, it might be a little bit tougher to get some of those yards, but this was a good first step for the Browns.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay Cabot is with us, cleveland.com, and the Plain Dealer. The voicemail of Truth and Reason, if you want to call anytime, is 216-200-6650. We are powered by cleveland.com. You can use that number anytime you like if you can't catch us while the show is on. Mary Kay is with us. More sports and less Levine, exclusively right here on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, Mary Kay, the Browns are now 2 games into their 2020 NFL season. So the question arises, are they more of a contender or a pretender? Here's what Bleacher Report had to say about the Browns so far. No NFL team has a better 1-2 punch at running back than the Cleveland Browns duo of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. The Browns also got a better performance from quarterback Baker Mayfield in Game 2. But even in victory, there were signs that the Browns still have work to do. Mayfield threw an ill-advised red zone interception, and Cleveland's defense was gassed for the second time in as many games, allowing more than 300 yards to Joe Burrow in his second NFL start. So, Les, Mary Kay, I want to toss a question to you guys. Do you think the Browns are more of a contender, or are they just a pretender this year?
Mary Kay, you go.
You know, it's an absolutely great question. And here's the thing. In week 1, you know, we had them playing one of the best teams in the NFL and just getting drilled. Then in week 2, they play one of the worst teams in the NFL and they repay the favor. So it's a little bit difficult right now to tell exactly what the Cleveland Browns are. But what I think they are is a team that's somewhere in the middle of those 2 games. And I think they will get better as they go along. And I think that because if they continue to rely on their running game, that they can stay in this thing and be a contender at least deep into the season.
Well, you say you're right in the middle after the first 2 games, and I think it'll continue because you've got the Washington football team. I want to ask how you're going to be able to call them, whatever you're going to call them, but the Washington and then Dallas after that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's still 3-3 at that point. What are you, for argument's sake, calling the Washington football team?
Just Washington. I'm just going to have to be careful. I accidentally tweeted out the old nickname yesterday. I mean, old habits die hard. And I did that, and I had to delete my tweet and kind of start all over again. But I'm just going to have to keep saying Washington. I don't think that I need to say Washington football team too many times. That's just a little bit cumbersome, but I'll just continue to try to focus on Washington.
I like that name. They ought to keep it. When they make the changeover, just keep it the Washington football team.
Yeah, I mean, it's original, that's for sure.
Original for an old-time unit. What do you expect from them? They got a coaching situation. They got all kinds of quarterback things to deal with. What do you look for Washington this weekend?
Well, you know what? As you mentioned, they're very well coached. Ron Rivera is a really, really good, sound and solid football coach. So you know they're going to come in here prepared. You know that they're going to try to exploit the Browns' weaknesses. That's what a good football coach will do. So therefore, Chase Young, one of their best defensive linemen, will try to find some weaknesses along that line, and he'll try to attack those if he can. Now, Jedrick Wills Jr. has held up really well in his first couple of games, but I don't know that necessarily he has run across a Chase Young yet. So I think that's going to be a challenge this week. Their defensive line is really good, and this offensive line will have to be on point.
You know, it's making it tough for us Ohio State fans here. You had J.K. Dobbins over the weekend sort of thrashing the Browns, and now Chase Young. It's a little bit different. Usually you'd see one or two Buckeyes, top Buckeyes a year. Now it seems as they're all over the place. Of course, they lose Nick Bosa.
Well, yeah, you've got Dwayne Haskins at quarterback for the Washington football team. You've got Chase Young, as you mentioned. They ran into J.K. Dobbins the first week, and he scored 2 rushing touchdowns. So they're everywhere.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. We'll continue with your phone calls. Hey, Mary Kay is the moniker for it. And coming up tomorrow night, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff. Then what do we have on Dan Lobby will be here on Thursday night from cleveland.com. We'll come back in a moment. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations, as well as the website, northeastfactory.com, the place to go. We'll take a break. We'll come on back. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. We're halfway through. More Sports and Less Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature's Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature's Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature's Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine. Les, Mary Kay, it's been a tale of 2 different games for Baker Mayfield. First game, not so good against Baltimore, but second game, Baker Mayfield seemed to rebound against Cincinnati. Here's what USA Today had to say about Baker Mayfield in Week 2. Mayfield's stat line was impressive, but I don't know if that means anything going forward. The Bengals' defense is one of the worst in the league, and some of Mayfield's issues, hesitancy in the pocket, staring down receivers, not seeing the field well, were still present. The fact that Mayfield played well isn't a sign that he's ready to turn the clock back to 2018. It's a sign, however, that he's not completely a lost cause, and this offense still has a chance to be pretty good. So I want to see what you guys think. Going into Game 3 against Washington, I want to see what kind of game you expect Baker Mayfield to have against Washington's defense.
Mary Kay, I think this whole thing is lowly hanging fruit, because it looks like every time somebody tries to analyze what Baker Mayfield is doing, it's the same story. Same story. You got the story of year 1, year 2, and now year 3. Nothing new in any of those stories, I don't think.
Well, the truth of the matter is right now, we just don't know what Baker Mayfield is yet. I think, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, that his first game, you just you can't read too much into that because the Ravens were so amazing in that game. The second game, you're playing against, almost the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of toughness of a football team. So I don't think we're going to really know where Baker Mayfield is at until we're about 4, 5, 6 games into the season. Then we'll kind of have an idea of what teams are trying to do to him, how they're trying to defend him, and, can he take his game to the next level? Because as we've talked about many times, this is a very pivotal year for him. He has to prove that he deserves that long-term contract, that big blockbuster deal that we're seeing quarterbacks get, where they're making $40 million a year and things like that. He's got to show that he's worthy of something like that. and he's going to have to start showing it pretty soon.
Is he show? Are the defenses showing anything to you that shows that they figured him out a little bit, or are they still playing games with them to try to figure out what they're seeing?
Well, I think we're going to know a lot more after this weekend because, again, the Cincinnati Bengals just weren't necessarily up to the challenge. I think that the Browns' offensive line matched up really well against their defensive line, especially without Geno, Atkins, and Mike Daniels in that game. This is going to be a much bigger test for Baker Mayfield, for the Browns' offensive line. He's going to have to get rid of the ball very quickly. He's going to have to go to the right place with the ball, try not to get it batted down, which was a problem in the first week, and above all, try not to throw any interceptions.
The first 2 weeks we kept hearing at this time of the week, trade rumors about Odell Beckham. This week, a good performance, a great catch or throw and catch by Mayfield for a touchdown at the goal line. We're not hearing trade rumors this week. Do you expect them to swirl again, or have we calmed the tide here?
Well, from everything I was able to gather, and I had been saying this on podcasts and different things, is that I never got the sense, and I dug around, I never got the sense that they were actually shopping him and trying to trade him. So I just don't think that there was anything to that. But I did feel after that first game that maybe there might be some merit to letting him look around a little bit and see if they can't get something in return for him, especially if you think maybe it's not going to continue on over the long haul.
Yeah, but that's not unusual, though, to toss a guy out there and just see what he could bring.
Well, I mean, you don't really want to be doing that, and they are not doing that. So I don't expect anything will happen. I don't think that they will trade him by that November 4th deadline. I don't see it. The only way that it will happen is if a team absolutely comes through with an offer that the Browns can't refuse. And that's why, you can never really say never. I mean, remember back when it was the Patriots will never trade Jimmy Garoppolo. It was written in stone. They will not trade him. Well, they turned around and they traded him. So those things are always true until they're not. But I know that they don't have any intentions of it. That's not the plan going in. Somebody would have to absolutely knock their socks off.
Yeah, but their job is they have to listen. If the phone rings, they have to listen. They have to talk. And that's how the rumors get out.
Absolutely. I mean, Andrew Berry will always listen. I mean, if somebody's going to pick up the phone and make him an offer, he will have those conversations. He's a very aggressive general manager when it comes to those kinds of things. He leaves no stone unturned, and that will also be the case. Now, the other thing about Odell is he has a huge cap number. There are not a lot of teams that can afford to take on a $14 million cap hit this year. Very few teams can do that. So it would have to be somebody that felt that he was the final piece to getting them over the hump and into the Super Bowl, or that they could extend him and keep him long term and have him be their answer.
All right, what we heard last week, in addition to the names being thrown out there, we kept hearing about the chemistry issues between Beckham and Baker Mayfield. Is some of that gone now because of this performance, or is it going to be here as long as we'll be here?
Everything that happened in that Bengals game must be taken with a grain of salt. I mean, you can't now say, oh, everything is rosy now between Baker and Odell, and now they're going to just ride off into the sunset and have 22 touchdowns together this season. I mean, that was the Bengals. Baker Mayfield was not sacked. He just didn't have a ton of pressure on him. He had a lot of time to be able to do what he wanted to do. He found some good one-on-one matchups. They ran the ball like crazy. I don't know that it's always going to look quite like that. And again, he's got so many mouths to feed on this team. Look, Austin Hooper, their star prize tight end, has caught 2 passes in each of the first 2 games. Jarvis Landry had, I think, 3 catches in the last game. So it's going to be difficult, especially when you're only attempting 23 passes.
You can follow us on Facebook by going to facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine, with new content posted each and every day. We'll put the question up during the day. You answer it. We'll put it up in the morning. You answer it during the day. We'll get it on the show later that night. More Sports and Less Levine is powered by cleveland.com. Mary Kay Cabot and I return in a moment right here on cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week, and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine. Les, Mary Kay, Thursday night, we didn't hear Denzel Ward's name called that much, and that's probably not a bad thing. Pro Football Focus views Denzel Ward as an up-and-coming cornerback, and that say that he could become one of the best in the league. Here's what they had to say. Ward is on the path to becoming a premier NFL corner, and Thursday night verified that. Ward saw ample reps in single coverage throughout the game, and he won more often than he lost. On such plays, he allowed just 3 of 9 targets to be caught for 19 yards, although 1 was a score. But he forced 4 incompletions. And of those 9 targets, Ward had his man in tight coverage on 7 of them. Only 1 was caught. It's time to start recognizing Ward as one of the NFL's best cornerbacks. So, Les, Mary Kay, my question to you is simply this. Do you agree with Pro Football Focus as Denzel Ward on his way to becoming a top-tier cornerback in the NFL?
Mary Kay, does that have as much to do with the defensive alignments that are called as does the individual play? For example, he's talking about Ward coming up close to the line of scrimmage. Is that by design?
You know what? I think that PFF is making a good, strong point here. I think Denzel has taken his game up to another level, which he needed to do. He's a number 4 overall pick. That high of a pick, you would expect to be in multiple Pro Bowls. And, I think right now he's probably already sort of planting his flag to be in that category this year. That was a good game by him. He just looks really dialed in. He looks like his technique is better. And I just think that as the season goes along, I think he'll continue to improve. And I think he's going to live up to that.
Is he doing anything that's keeping the injury bug away? Because the injuries seemed to be a factor early on. Is it different now?
You just never know how that's going to go. But so far, so good with him. Unfortunately, it hasn't been the same for Greedy with that shoulder. But Denzel was able to get out there on that field. No problems yet with the hamstring. Hopefully, we are not jinxing him right now as we speak. But he just looks really, really ready to shut down his side of the field in one-on-one coverage.
At what point does the opposition aim at a guy like that, or decide, you know what, the guy's too good, we can't go against him, let's move somewhere else? Is that the third week? Is it eighth week? What is it?
Well, I think once they start to see how well Denzel is playing, you might start to go the other way. But in the case of last week, Terrence Mitchell actually graded out higher, according to Pro Football Focus, than Denzel even did. He only gave up 2 receptions on 10 targets, and he tied Denzel with knocking down three balls, and he just had a heck of a game. He didn't give up any touchdowns.
What do you expect Washington to do against him? What do you expect Denzel to come back in return?
Well, once again, I think that this is a game where those guys have to be on point, and I think that it will help. It helps a lot if your defensive line can get Dwayne Haskins off of his mark and kind of get him rattled for this game and confuse him, and again, run some of those games and stunts and then, dial up some blitzes and things like that. That always helps those guys in the back end.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. She's here on Tuesday nights. We enjoy having her here. Hope it continues for a long time. Northeast Factory Direct has 3 great locations. Check them out, east, west, and south, as well as the website, which is northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll come back in a moment. We are powered by cleveland.com. More sports and Les Levine continues in a moment.
Never replace your basement flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Pearl Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
On this date in history, 1911, Cy Young gets his 511th win and final career win in a 10-0 Boston win over Pittsburgh. And Cy Young did not win a Cy Young Award that year. Here are the baseball birthday, one at the top of the screen. Bob Lemon, former Indian, Hall of Famer now, manager in the big leagues, not with the Tribe. Tommy Lasorda, same thing. David Stern, who passed away within the last 6 months. Seymour Movies, born on this date. And Carlos Correa and Indians reliever James Karinchuk. And if the Indians are going to go anywhere, they need James to perform better than he has most recently. Right now at Smiley One, they're making it very easy to invest in a new heating and cooling support system and comfort system without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of the special financing, 36 months on select Bryant efficiency equipment. They make it easy on your family to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for more details. 216-575-0403. Mary Kay Cabot with us. Mary Kay, before I ask you for a prediction on Cleveland Browns and the Washington football team, what else can we look for with the Washington football team? What if they're going to beat the Browns? What do they have to do to beat them?
Well, I do think it's going to come down to their defense. They have a very, very good defense, and especially their defensive line. So again, right now they're 1-1. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They are without their Pro Bowl guard. I think that is significant for them. I think that will hurt them in a lot of ways. But I think that Haskins is going to have to come through and have a really good game. And I think that the Browns are going to really have to disrupt him in any way that they possibly can.
All right, so what's your prediction for Week 3, the Browns against Washington at home?
I'm going to pick the Browns to win this game. I think that this is definitely a winnable game, and it's at home. And I'm going to go somewhere in the 20s. I probably will do something like 24-17 or a 24-20, something like that.
We would take that, no question about that. And I'm still going with what I said. A big loss in Week 1 and then come back with 2 wins in a row. They got the first one. Now they'll try it again. I think the Browns get it. We asked our Facebook viewers and Facebook followers to answer a question. The question is, what is your prediction for the Browns game against Washington? Glenn Berger says 24-13, Browns over Washington. The Browns defense improves as injured starters return. Josh Woodard says Arizona was pretty weak on defense when they held Washington to 15 points last week. Some of it was in garbage time. Their offensive line is something I think the Browns' defensive line can take advantage of. The Browns should win this game handily, something like 40-14. Aaron Wood says Browns 24-10 over Washington. And Robert Moore said Dwayne Haskins will have his best day as a professional. Well, we'll give him that if the Browns can win, right? That's how that works. You can follow us on Facebook with new questions and content each and every day, and you see it right there. And we post the questions in the morning. Different sports each time: Browns, Indians, Cavaliers, you name it. We post it, and would like some comments on Ohio State. See what you're thinking. Mary Kay, do you have a thought on Ohio State? My thought is that people just assume, all right, they're back and they're going to win. But the first game against Wisconsin is not going to be easy. And the second game at a very tough place, Penn State, to play football. Ohio State's got better talent, but that's still a tough place to play.
Yeah, and long layoff, crazy off season. Nobody knows if they're playing or they're not playing. So they will be, but everybody in the Big Ten will be in the same boat. But it's they're going to have to go from 0 to 100. No warm-up games. They're just diving right into it. But I'm so glad that it's back. I know everybody around here is ecstatic and ready to roll.
No warm-up games. They just get to play, Illinois for about 5 weeks in a row. That's exhibition games. All right, we're going to take one more break. If you've got anything left, Mary Kay, we will take it when we get back. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively right here on cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's check out tomorrow. Dennis Maniloff, the D-Man, now with WTAM 1100. He joins us tomorrow night as he usually does on Wednesday. Dan Lobby will be here on Thursday. 216-575-0403 is the number to call if you want to get in just before the end of the show. Time for a How Come Quickie. How come when Sir Edmund Hillary got to the top of Mount Everest, nobody was there to take his picture? Mary Kay, how do we have proof that he actually did it if there was no camera person there?
I can't answer that. I don't know. Maybe they have like a little photo booth set up.
Oh,
when
could
you
be.
get there.
Like for a quarter, you and a friend can watch the movie and then go in the booth and have your picture taken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Something like that.
Excellent idea. You've seen Kevin Stefanski as a new coach coming in as the hiree. You've seen him with a bad loss against Baltimore. Now you see him with a nice win against Cincinnati. It's 1-1. He's felt it all so far. What have you learned about him, or what do you think he's learned about himself as a head coach?
Well, I think one of the important things that he was able to do was to pull his team back together after getting just hammered in that first game. They made so many mistakes, and nobody expected that. We thought it was going to be a loss, but probably a clean game, and it wasn't anything like that. So he was able to pull the team back together and throw it out on the football field only 4 days later and come up with a big, convincing victory. So I think that was important, and he has remained unflappable throughout. So I think that's an important thing. He's so young and he's so new, and he's had a lot of adverse conditions, including horrible, horrible injuries on his defense since the beginning of training camp, and he's just kind of flatlined throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, and of course the pandemic hasn't done him any favors either. When you look at it, he's got a lot of new people. Well, most of them, although some have played with him when he was at Minnesota. But are you seeing any sense of some players trying to test him a little bit, see how far they can get? Because my guess is if they do that, they'll be gone in about an hour and a half.
No, they're not doing that. I mean, they are so bought into the program, and he's such an upfront, honest guy. He communicates with them so effectively and so often. Even just at practice, we see it. He pulls these guys in, at the beginning of practice. He pulls them in again at the end of practice. There's always just a lot of talking to them and explaining what's next and what's expected of them. And I think he's doing a really nice job that way.
But he's in control for the most part?
Yes, he's definitely in control. And, they respect his authority. That you can tell that they not only like him as a coach and a person, but they respect what he's saying. They believe that he has a plan. I think they feel they're in really good hands.
And does that turn into wins this year?
I think it can. I think that they have some winnable games on this schedule. And I think they can make it very interesting, especially if they get some guys back on defense and they continue to run the ball a lot.
All right, the players are not allowed to look ahead and do some scoreboard watching before the games take place, but you and I can. Who do you worry about down the stretch here? You've played just 2 games out of 16, but is there a team or two or a point in the season that looks different to you than it did maybe a month ago?
Well, I think those 2 games against Pittsburgh are going to be really tough. We didn't know heading into the season how was Ben Roethlisberger going to come back. And, he looks pretty good so far, and I think he's going to shake off the rust. And if the elbow holds up on him, I think that he's going to get better as the season goes along. And their defense looks really good. So that's one team that, 2 games of that that I think are going to be very, very difficult. Then, of course, you've got to play Houston. They're a little, down on their luck right now. You've got to go to Dallas. There are some tough games on this schedule, but there are also plenty of winnable games.
Such as?
The 2 games in New York. I mean, Saquon Barkley's out now. Now, I've liked what I've seen.
They'll be far out of it by then, too.
Yeah. And I've watched, some of Daniel Jones, and I like, some of the things that he's done. The Jets, I just don't see that happening. I really think the Browns are going to beat them. They've got they've got the Jaguars. The Jaguars are going to be a tough team this year, but so I think that'll be a nice little matchup. Again, a lot of them can go either way. I didn't feel that way in week 1. I did not think that the Browns were going to beat the Ravens, but there's a number of games coming up where I think they can win them.
Are you watching the Belichick-Brady soap opera going on?
Yeah.
You sort of have to, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's fun. I think that I enjoyed watching Cam Newton play for the Patriots the other night. I thought that was really, really cool. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in this league right now. There's a ton of great quarterback play. My goodness, watching Russell Wilson and Drew Brees. I mean, this has been quite a fun start to the season to watch some of these.
Why would that be? It's the same guys. The guys have been here for a while. I mean, Russell Wilson has been good, very good for a long time. Cam Newton, I think, I don't understand the way Cam Newton throws the ball, but it seems to work okay for him. But why do you think there's so many good quarterbacks now? That's just the time of their growth period?
Well, yeah, that's part of it. I mean, look at a guy like Kyler Murray. I mean, when you watch the highlights of him, he's amazing to watch. I mean, he's just taken his game up to the next level now in his second season. And I think that, some of these young guys, they start to get pretty good and they separate themselves. Josh Allen, I mean, he had 4 touchdown passes on Sunday. So there's just starting to be some really, really good quarterback play and a lot of offensive coordinators that are doing some nice things with these guys.
And what a lot of people won't be interested in hearing is the fact that if you're another team looking in on the Browns, you saw a very good Baker Mayfield on Sunday.
Yeah, you know what? You did see a good Baker Mayfield on Sunday, and that was good for him. It was good for Browns fans that needed to see that after week 1. It was good for the whole organization to say, hey, you know what? Maybe he is the franchise quarterback of the future, because you even had Joe Thomas telling us on an NFL Network availability that, maybe it's time to question after the season if he doesn't prove himself, do they need to go out and find somebody else? That's the kind of talk that was happening after week 1.
I don't want to do that again.
No. So I think that this was, such a confidence booster. And even though it was only against the Bengals, it was still, you can build on that. You can say, hey, look what we did last week. Now we can go forth and do something even better.
Great job by Mary Kay Cabot, as always. She'll be back next week after the Browns take on the Washington football team. Mary Kay, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Mary Kay Cabot, reader at cleveland.com and The Plain Dealer. That'll do it for us. I'll see you tomorrow night with Dennis Manilov, and Dan Lobby will be here on Thursday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.